rated T for blood, violence, and crud humor. What's that, like French or something?
Hey everybody, Articulation Prime here, back with another video review. Now today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Batman Arkham Knight Batman figure. Now this I obviously saw in my local GameStop, and it's cool. You do see a nice open package here. You see the figure inside there. You do get a nice logo of the Bat logo up there. You do see Batman Arkham Knight and this nice sort of embossed logo there. Warnings and things of that nature. Number 1! Batman. As you can see, it was $25. That hurt a little bit. As you can see, here's a nice schematic of Batman on the side. It just says Batman Arkham Knight, Batman, DC Collectibles. On the back here, you see the figures who are in Wave 1. I guess that's what that means, S1. I don't know. You see Batman, Arkham Knight, Scarecrow, and Harley Quinn. I also saw the Red Hood. He was there. And you see that nice same embossed Batman logo, which is really cool. You see who's responsible for bringing us this sculpt. Very cool. Nice DC Comics logo there on the side. You see more of the sort of bat detailing there on the side. And on the bottom, just some DC Entertainment. Not for babies! But for the packaging, that's pretty much it. Let's see how cool this guy really is. And here you have him opened up and out of his packaging. And this guy right here is awesome. Now, first things first, we will take a look at a few accessories. He does come with his bat line thing, the zip line that he uses in, I believe, just Arkham City and apparently Arkham Knight. And it is very nicely detailed. It's very nice, and it does have places for the fingers. Now, speaking of fingers, he does come with an extra hand, actually molded to hold the bat zip bat line, whatever you're trying to call it. What you just do is you just slide this in here. Takes a little bit of wiggling. Just have to get those fingers lined up with those holes. Takes a little bit of finagling. It is kind of scary. There we go. Just have to get it up there. And it'll just sort of sit in there. You do have to bump the camera a little bit. You do have to finagle it a little bit to get it to stay in place, and actually look like he's actually holding the darn thing. But there you have it for your aesthetic purposes if you want him to be like he's gonna shoot the bat grapple zipline thing. Yeah, you have that option if you want it. It is just on a peg system, so it is very easy to swap in and out, and I'll get to that in a second. And one final accessory alone, Batarang. And it is, I bumped the camera again. It is very nicely detailed. You do see nice silver paint on the side. Very, very cool. It doesn't collapse or anything like that, but due to how small and thin it is, I don't think I'd want it to. Just because it would be so very fragile. My camera's having a hard time focusing on it. Excuse me. It's so small. But you do get one of those. And he does have a hand specifically molded to hold the Batarang, which we'll get to in a minute. Coming on to the figure himself, it is very, very cool. The head sculpt is just very, very cool. Coming in so you can see that a little better. Just get a load of that noodle. It is so cool. And as you can see, some of the carbon fiber on the pads and stuff like that, and even on the cape a little bit here. Very cool. Very, very awesome. You do see a nice molded in bat logo there. Some of the armor on the Batman himself. Nice things here. Gauntlet knives. I don't know what you'd call these. A lot of Batman have these. Batmen. They have these, and it's just like an aesthetic choice. It's really cool. Some nice detail. Oops. No. Nice detailing here on the glove itself. Very cool. You do see he actually does come with a utility belt, which is nice and weathered, as if he's been wearing it a lot. And it is very cool. You do have a nice leg sculpt down here. Very cool. On these boots, they do have some scrapes and scratches, and they're not symmetrical. That's the word I was thinking of. And so it gives it a nice sort of worn feel. It's the only spot where it's really worn, so it does look kind of goofy, but it is sort of believable because it's, it's metal. It's on his legs. And you do see his nice bat boots there on the bottom with some nice tread. And I will say the cape is phenomenal. And I love how it has this little curve at the bottom. so it looks like it's sitting on the floor. It is very cool. I'm a very big fan of long caped Batmen. And you do see it is segmented. It does have these segmented lines in it, and it is very cool. Very, very awesome. Now, swapping out the hands, putting this in that wrist is pretty simple to do. You just want to come around here and pull it off, and it is just on a mushroom peg, I believe that's called. And then just take this, put it in, orient it properly, and there you go. You have Batman sort of, I don't know, he doesn't quite know what he's going to do with it. But you can have him, you know, hold it above his head if you so desire. You can't really see that the further I go back. There we go. You can sort of have him hold it above his head if he's, you know, swinging on it or getting ready to fire it or something. But this wasn't my favorite gadget in the game. So I don't know if it's going to get a bigger role in this game or what. But because Arkham Knight, as of this recording, has not come out yet. Just put his sort of stock standard hand back in. And this hand is always molded to be holding the Batarang. Coming in close so you can see that it is a very, very, very tight fist. Not a complete fist, but this just slides right in there like that. You can have him hold it this way, or you can have him hold it this way. And this way does sort of lock in, and it sort of does stay a lot tighter. So I think this is the way it's supposed to be. But again, you can display your Batman however you want. Personally, I think I do mine this way. As if he's getting ready to throw it. I don't know. It's hard to tell with a Batarang which way it's supposed to go. Just pose it whatever way feels more natural to you. If you feel you should be throwing it this way, or if you feel you should be throwing it the other way. Just do whatever way feels natural to you. Now, taking the Batarang out so we can look at his articulation. His articulation is a little weird, I'll say. His head moves up and down. It will rotate and is very stiff. It's sort of on this ratchet joint, as you can see. It just goes boop. So, and it does go up and down slightly, not a whole lot. You do want to be careful of these ears because they are very, very fragile. There were actually 2 Batman in my store. Batmen? It seems weird to say 2 Batman. It just, and the other ear was broken on the other Batman. So, just something to look out for. The shoulders go out, and this is really nice. I like the way that they did this shoulder pad mechanic. I really love that. Goes out that far and rotates up, back like it should. And it's on a sort of weird universal joint where you can, if you pose them in certain angles, you can see the joint. But it's hidden enough to not really bug anybody. I mean, it doesn't bother me at all. So, and the first time I did kind of have to finagle some glue and some paint out of this side here, but it seems to operate just fine. This one's a little bit more than the other one. This one's a bit more free range. And as you see, he does have a double jointed elbow. Very cool, adding that nice pad there. And again, on this side, I had to force this secondary joint to move, because he would just bend to there. Then you have to, it's much more of a fight to get this secondary joint to work. And then you do have a wrist flip-flop like that, and it does rotate slightly. Bump the camera. Due to the way that the gauntlet is designed, it's hard to get it to do a full 360 without it actually rubbing into the sides of the gauntlet sculpt. But again, you're really not going to have your Batman like that unless his arm is broken. Why would you break Batman's arm? That's just cruel. So let's talk torso articulation, shall we? Let's. That was really hard to get me to say for some reason. I don't know why. But he does have a nice ab crunch. It is a little stiff. But you can have him look down, look up, and it is nice and ratcheted. The thing about the last click, though, is he's sort of very stock straight. He's sort of sticking his chest and butt out. It's kind of weird. So I leave him at, like, one cock in, and it sort of is more of a natural pose in my opinion. Ooh, he does rotate. I didn't think he did rotate. He rotates slightly, but it's believable. It's a believable waist joint, because you don't want Batman spinning all around. That just wouldn't be prune juice. Proper, excuse me. Anyway. Coming on to his legs, they do rotate up that far, and the pouches do move out of the way slightly. They are a nice rubber material, but I feel that if you leave them in this position for too long, the rubber will sort of freeze in that location. It will warp. So I wouldn't leave him in any like flying kick poses for too long. You do have a thigh swivel. It can go all the way around, so you've broken Batman's leg as well as his hand, you sick person. He does have a double jointed knee. You have a very nice range of movement there. Bring it back out. He does have a up and down movement here at the ankle, and he does have a slight rotation and a buckle. I guess that's what you're calling it, so he can have a nice wide stance. And that does facilitate a lot of action poses. And it is just so awesome to finally get a really, really cool version of Batman from the video games. Bottom line, is he worth the money? I say yes. I don't know if he's worth the $25, but maybe if you can get him for like $16 to $20, that might be a reasonable price point. If you can get him for what you paid for this guy, it is an amazing deal. And $25 for this guy really isn't a bad deal overall. He is still an amazing figure, and the plastic quality is amazing. The cape is a nice rubbery, flowy, rubbery material. And he is very good. The few paint problems that I do have with the figure are dealable with, or I'm able to deal with. That's what I was looking to say. And he poses really well on a shelf. Whether you just want him throwing a batarang or punching something, he will facilitate your pose no matter what you want him doing. So I say if you can find this guy, pick him up. I will try to get the rest of the figures in the line because this guy right here is awesome. And, well, he's Batman. He should be awesome. Anyway, guys, this has been Rocktimus Prime. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you next time, and I hope you guys have a good day, good night, whenever you're watching this. Take care, guys.